Hi everybody, Creative Katie Karen Burchill here. Welcome to another art journal tutorial. Take time to subscribe to my channel. This one is part of my color scheme challenge, and I'll put a link to other videos in the iCards on the top right hand corner. So I'm grabbing a page out of my altered recipe binder, and I've just gessoed out some of the words. And as I'm drinking my tea, I'm thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to take inspiration from here. I want that Naples yellow. And instead of the light aqua, which I just put out, I'm going to use light blue permanent and Prussian blue. And the reason for the light blue permanent is when I mix the light blue permanent with the yellow, I'm going to get the aqua. And I know that because I blended those colors together in my color blending reference tool. And I'll put a link to that video as well. Now I'm adding white here to lighten the yellow and lighten the blues and get more tones of the same color. Remember, with the Color Scheme Challenge, you use the colors and you can add white or black as well as mixing the colors to get a third color, if that works. In this case, it does. It gives a kind of aqua color. I'm just blending. I'm going between my fingers and the paintbrush. Typically when I'm blending, I find I do a better job with my fingers. I'm using a makeup sponge here, softening the edges. I just want to get the colors here, and I don't want to get necessarily any harsh lines. I know I'm going to do some stenciling on top of this, but I want a dreamy, soft background with the light blue and the Naples yellow and the blended color that I'm going to get when I mix the two. So instead of white paint, I'm using gesso to blend, but you could use white paint here as well. This stencil from the Crafters Workshop is called Scroll Work, and I just want to stencil on this with the blue. Now, I did not dry the paint, and that's causing me some difficulty. In fact, the stencil here is sticking to it. So I'm taking time, backtracking, and I'm drying it. So when I bring back the stencil, I'm going to stencil the light blue permanent where the yellow color blocks are, and the yellow where the blue is. And I just want this very light, and you can see that lovely color. And it's reading, even though it's light blue permanent, on camera and in real life, it looks like the bright aqua. I'm absolutely loving, loving, loving this stencil. It's adding some pattern to the background in a very subtle way. And I'm using, again, the same colors. I'm not introducing another color. Keeping it simple. Here I'm taking white and I'm kind of bumping the stencil, just moving it to another part and stenciling with white. And that always, when you stencil with white on it, it just always seems to work. So if you're struggling, try doing with white. So I just love, 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 love this background. We'll use this stencil again. We'll use these colors again. Now, aside from wanting to use these two colors, and there it lifted again, and I'm not sure why it did that. I think it had to do with I just didn't take the time to dry the gesso properly. Here I'm using light and fluffy modeling paste through this stencil that is called Handcut Blossom, and it's by Rebecca Meyer. It's with the Crafters Workshop, and I'm using just a piece of it here. Now, because this is the light and fluffy modeling paste and I put a very thin coat on, it's not very opaque. So what I do is, after some scooching it around and trying to get the stencil to go back on top, I'm going to take the Prussian blue, the third color of my color challenge, and stencil the high parts. It's just an easy way to do it if you can get your stencil back online. Sometimes there's just no way, you can't find where you've had it. And this one gave me a bit of a struggle, but I was able to do it. So I'm just putting the Prussian blue over top. Now, if you can't put the stencil on, you can take a small brush and paint on top of the modeling paste. And it will vary, depending on the modeling paste, how well it takes. Now, there's bits of white that are showing, and it's not a perfectly opaque application of Prussian blue. But I like that because that leads to kind of the tattered, worn, vintage feel that this page is having. I'm just adding a little bit darker here and there, just as I go. I mean, I'm not trying to do every area. So I've added pattern here and I've added some texture. Now some of the blue that I'm adding here, I'm going to go back. I'm not sure, and I'm rubbing it with my finger because it just seemed a little too harsh. Kind of like the softer effect better. So as I said, in my art journal, this is where I experiment. This is where I try new color schemes, try a technique, see what happens, because it's just paper and paint. I haven't invested a whole lot of time and energy into it. If it works, I can take that information and knowledge and use it in doing a canvas. Now, after going through some of my focal points, I decided, I'm going to put the girl on here, and just to make her match, I am giving her dress a coat of the Prussian blue. This is a Julie Nutting doll that I stamped onto cardstock and had cut out, and it was in my stash ready to go. Even the hair was painted. Can anyone guess why I chose the girl with the red hair or orange hair? I'll show you later. Think about it. I'm just giving that a dry, and I'm trying to audition where I want to put. And now I'm trying to figure out what sentiment I want to add to this. I want to introduce some of the Prussian blue to the rest of the page, so I'm just splattering. It's the quickest way to introduce that color other places. So everything kind of works together. The splattering also hides any imperfections. So I have the phrase, what is meant to be will be, and I was going to do it up and down vertically, and then I decided, what about if I put it horizontally and I put the words on two sides? Do you see how your eye goes down, what is meant to be, and then goes across, will be? It kind of floats through the page, and that's what you want when you set up the composition. I'm using my fluid matte medium to glue these down. And I'm putting just some fluid matte underneath, medium underneath, and then on top. And I'm just using the same with the girl. Now the girl's a little thicker, so you can, with some thicker papers and stuff, move to gel, but I just hold it down. So there you go. The hair and this orange is across from the blue on the color wheel. That's why it pops on this page. It's a complementary color, and that's a good thing to do. I grabbed my Sakura Jelly Roll pen. This is white, and it's 10, which is the broadest tip. Now it's slightly soaking into the very porous modeling paste, but it's giving kind of a faded look instead of a very opaque white look, which matches the page. I could have switched here to my fine line bottle, which would have given a much more opaque white outlining. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of what you like. At the different times, you may be going for a different effect. I hope you consider joining my Facebook group and the color scheme challenge that's going to be going on. Every month I put 1 or 2 different color schemes and invite you to create using those colors. I'll also be making some helper videos all about layman's color theory and color blending, just to get to know your paints so you can predict what you're going to get. And all of these will be in my playlist, Color Scheme Challenge. So if you go to the playlist, they're all there for you. You just have to find the one you're looking for. So I'm doing a little bit of shading here with I believe I used my Inktense pencil, and I'm just adding a little bit, scudging it up, putting a little shadow underneath the words and on top, just to see, just till I get it how I like it. So here we've used 3 colors, 2 stencils, 1 focal image, and 1 sentiment. Keeping it simple, never looks so good. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, share this with your creative friends, and I hope to see you in my Facebook group doing the Color Scheme Challenge. Bye for now.